It's Yalla Home. Yalla Home.
With Anna Schofield
and Big Hass.
Sliding into a 3-day weekend. Keep it here at Yalla Home Live till 8. We're going to talk about the most amazing program on Netflix that I saw a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like a documentary. And I've had it on save for a while, and then I saw the puffer fish thing, and then you told me that you saw it. So I watched it last night. Just there's a lot of things that you can learn. I take it not only like technically, but also a lot of philosophically, and also what God has created and how tiny we are. Once you watch the whole thing, it's a story about a man that kind of was facing difficult times in his life, and then not know who he was, and then decided to kind of go to the ocean, and just see what it is on there. And then he was inspired by an octopus and the underlife, and then obviously started going back to shooting, and his journey started. Without giving you spoilers, because you definitely should go watch it, but just what an incredible the vibe of the whole thing when I was watching it, how the relationship grew, and then you felt for the octopus. Like at the end, you were like, what? Yeah. But it's a circle of life. At one point, there was a scene, and I think this is the scene that you're talking about, that you would have. And he didn't interfere with the circle of life. And I kind of like that. I know you're about to say differently, but I liked it because this is one octopus. Like, he's not gonna be obviously saving every single thing, but I like how he said it. I did not interfere. Yeah. And anyway, I didn't know that octopus live up to a year anyway. Like, I didn't know that fact. Like, it's just they live, and they naturally die.
They do. As soon as the female's pregnant, she gives birth, she dies. Yeah, she's done. Her life's over.
So it
and you don't know that till the end, either, do you? It's not like it's something that's widely known.
It's just, and the last scene was a bit emotional for me as well. But she's anyway. But tell me, like.
Okay, so I'm watching it also, and this was very good because this is one of these documentaries. It's like a diary documentary.
Yeah.
This is one of those programs that will be provocative. You'll end up pausing and speaking to your partner. And did Hanan watch it with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and were you pausing it and going, oh yeah, but
No, not really. We watched the whole thing, and then
did you?
We were so immersed in it.
Were you?
Both of us were. Yeah, it's just, it took us to God, to be honest with you. Like, I was like thinking, like, we're nothing. We're like, seriously, there were nothing. You saw some things, weird things, and the forced mentality, and like, this dude is a normal guy, and then how he took his son and all that.
And he
stuff.
took his son with him. So the one thing that Hass has really got from it, and which I did too, because this wasn't something that I would naturally click on and watch. So I just want to say to anyone who's going, I'm not watching The Octopus Teacher, it's a documentary about an octopus, take a minute on that, because it was an accident that I ended up watching it just because I was with someone who absolutely loves the sea.
There was an accident that he also met the octopus.
And it was a complete accident.
Like the whole thing is not about, it's not a Sir David Attenborough, shout out to him, of course.
No, it's not.
It's more about the story of this man and this octopus and their journey together and becoming friends.
And they become friends, seriously. And so you think of, everyone knows we can become friends with dogs. Everyone knows you can become friends with cats. That's a given.
Yeah.
Animals outside of that, maybe there's a bit with birds, it depends what pets you keep. But this relationship between him and a female octopus literally has, and it's taken the world by storm, because at no point did anyone go, oh yeah, you can have a pet octopus and it will come and hug you. But there's a point in there where she saw him one day and she was so excited, and she swam over and she sat on his chest. She just wanted to be with him. That made me cry.
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
But there is a bit.
But also, to that point, it was just, I felt we're really nothing. If an animal, and again, octopus are they're very not social.
No, they're not social.
One point she was playing with him and playing with the fish.
Yeah.
So a fish, she eats fish.
But she was playing with them with her tentacles in the air.
So the fact that an animal can play with that, we're nothing. As a human race, we're nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the messages I kind of got. And you're right, absolutely right, in terms of how the relationship built. It's shot across 1 year as well. It's not like 20 days or whatever.
No.
It took time for this person to become friends, like you're saying, and until they touched. And it's just the information. What I loved is this: he spoke about something about science that wasn't there. No
Yeah.
one spoke about, it was a lot of science information.
Yeah.
This is
he
not
couldn't find the stuff he needed.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Scientifically, this is not a science project or a documentary. It's more emotional.
Yeah.
Much more about, in my opinion, about God and the beauty of that. So like, when he spoke about that, I was like, this is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
it's not everything is science.
No.
Because everything is put always under science. Some things that science couldn't even explain.
So then, on that point, so I'm with Richard, and Richard
Yeah.
felt the same way as you. You don't interfere, and I went, no, but hang on.
Yeah.
There and
Tell me
this is
about
where
that.
I come
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
So there is an incident. I don't think I'll spoil it for people when I say there's an incident where the female octopus is attacked and she's hurt.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know if she's going to survive.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, he sees the attack.
He
allows the attack, and then he watches the aftermath of the attack.
Yeah.
The reason I don't like that is because something incredibly unique was happening between them. They became friends. And there are lots of instances in the animal human world, like you were saved by a dog.
Yeah.
Right. There are lots of instances where dolphins have gone in
Yeah.
and grabbed humans if there's a shark or if there's a... Dolphins will go in and save.
Yeah.
There are moments, and if that was you in trouble, Hass, I would try and save you, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Just because it's an octopus, I felt that the friendship was such that he let her down because I felt they're friends. He's not trying to change the reproductive
cycle.
society or the cycle of octopuses.
Although
generically.
that's what he said, and he didn't elaborate more on that. I get it.
But I think he
for
should
us
have
to have a
stepped in.
conversation like that. Well, look, this is very debatable. I don't think you
Yeah.
should have stepped in. Like
But she was his friend.
I get it. But like, it's at the end of the day, she didn't really die from this. Like, not to
No, she
spoil
didn't
her.
die from it.
But again, you
But
don't know how
she could have done.
But you don't know how the movie is as well, documentary wise, just to keep it entertaining for people.
Yeah.
Because it was shot after, So maybe it's just something
I
provocative
was
to talk about.
disappointed, but I was disappointed
Yeah.
in him for not interfering, and
I
I
hear
thought that he hadn't thought that through. He's talking about emotions and a friendship,
Yeah.
and then at the same time didn't follow through on a friendship because then he went, oh, but it's nature, and I must stand away. And I'd love to have this debate with him. And at the end, listen, he could do nothing to stop what happened at the end. And honestly,
Yeah.
guys, you must watch it
Yeah,
because
must.
you need to see
It's-
this.
it's a
But at the
must-watch.
same time, I would have gone over
I hear you.
and cuddled. There was nothing to stop him cuddling
I hear
at
you.
the end.
I think it's interesting. I just think also because it's a movie for people, I think it just makes it provocative more.
Do you
because,
think?
in my opinion, I don't know. This is an intention thing. Like, I can't know his intention, right? Because also from a human perspective, there's this famous picture about a big crow. I don't know what to call it, like a bird. I forgot what's an eagle.
Oh, vulture or
A vulture
something? Yeah.
on top of the famine.
child.
The child. He was let go. Like, the photographer took the picture and just didn't do anything.
Yeah, and then he actually left the planet afterwards.
It was a
because
problem with
he
himself.
couldn't-
I get it.
Yeah, he
but
couldn't.
that's from a human as well. So that's what I'm saying. It's gonna bring all these topics back again, which from a business perspective is amazing.
At all points, we are humans. That
Yeah.
child needed saving from that vulture.
yeah.
That photo didn't need taking.
No.
And I don't forgive him either.
Yeah.
That photographer.
Yeah.
I don't, and I'm not surprised he couldn't forgive himself.
Yeah.
But in terms of friendship,
I hear you.
Just because she's an octopus,
No, it
doesn't
is-
mean she wasn't his friend.
I don't think it was because of that. I think he said it because of he didn't want to interfere, because this would have happened to other octopuses or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
some other time. He didn't want to interfere with the cycle of life.
Yeah.
Because it's a cycle of life. At the end of the day, she does her thing, and
Yeah.
what's written. I hear where you're coming from,
And I hear where
guess,
you're coming from,
I
but
guess
I
this is
can't-
the whole conversation. But the beautiful story about a friendship between a man and an octopus, and how it changed him, how it made him closer to his family.
Yeah.
How his son started to also adapt the same situation. How
And I wonder if his son took some of the footage. Because
that was my first question, because I was
Yeah.
like, who was down with
Who
him?
was filming?
The other filmmakers, because I read more about it, and there's
Oh,
two
right.
filmmakers as
Oh, was
well
there?
with him.
Incredible,
So he was the
incredible.
narrator, and he was the idea guy, but there was
Concept
two
guy, yeah.
people with him under the sea shooting, and it was
Oh.
just massive. Definitely go watch it. Very well recommended. And what I love about it, it's not scientific at all. Actually, towards the end, you realize it's a very human story, and a very, very also emotional story. And it's a big indication, again, one more time, that we're nothing. Like, we are seriously like
Yeah.
the world under, the world above, you know,
Yeah.
and how it changes. Smart, this octopus, like the
She's
way.
so clever.
Apparently, yeah, it's an octopus thing as well, and how they, manipulate the. You know, there was this part where she wanted to attack by the shark. The shark flew over her, guys. You
Yeah.
didn't see her. It was like
true, it's true.
It was just but definitely go watch it.
The other thing.
What was the best scene for you? Let's end it like best scene.
The best scene?
Yeah.
When she cuddled him.
Okay, that's for you. Best scene for me is when he was with his son, and a small octopus raised up, and they were saying maybe it's one of her babies.
Oh, yeah. That
So
was
that was
also,
like, wow, that she's there,
Yeah.
because it was with his son.
Yeah.
Like son, daughter, and it was like
Yeah.
just but that moment when the octopus was on his chest and he, just having
And
this
he
in the
was
middle of
just
the
stroking.
sea.
Oh,
just
it's incredible.
Yeah.
So here's something else that's we'll end on this. When I turned around to my kids and said, you need to watch this.
Yeah.
And my son went, I already have. It's part of the curriculum here in the UAE.
Nice. Yeah.
But don't you think that's amazing?
That's amazing,
They
yeah.
watched it in class.
Amazing.
And I went,
Because it's a very also conversational thing, like from people, that believe in the higher power, that don't believe in the higher power, that it's like a whole big thing. And for me, it took me there, like the whole thing from the beginning to end.
I'm so
it took me there.
pleased.
So
I'm
just
so pleased.
just remarkable. A little bit of Bryan Adams, Clown number 9. Go watch it. It's on Netflix, you guys. Watch it. It's not scientific. It's not boring. It's not like a lot of just scientific information. You'll cry, you'll laugh, you'll smile, and most importantly, you will know that all the powers that we have, we're nothing. Like, we are nothing. Just be thankful, be grateful that you're breathing. We're going to be right back.
If you liked this episode of Yalla Home, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.